Hello, and welcome back to another Sunday Setup for Success, my weekly podcast where I talk about the mental and emotional and physical well-being in our modern lives, especially how it pertains to our modern workplace. Welcome back. I'm Felix Becker, and I am the Broke Surgeon. If you're not already following me on the socials, be sure you do, because I'm sharing valuable content every day about the stuff that matters to all of us. So speaking of the Sunday Setup for Success, for the last 2 weeks, if you've been following along, you know that I have introduced you to the first of the 5 Ps. So that was positivity, and last week was purpose. So naturally today, we will be talking about the third P, priming. Now, what is priming? Priming is putting pictures in your brain, creating a future vision for yourself, so that this vision will pull you into the future you desire, instead of the world around you pushing you in a direction that you don't want to go in. Priming, or future visioning, or manifesting your future, as some people might refer to it, is a powerful, powerful tool. Now, the 5 Ps are the foundation of the Phoenix program. And the Phoenix program I've put together based on my own experiences with burnout, if that's what you want to call it, as well as many of the coaching tools and techniques and frameworks that I have learned on my own journey to become a certified coach. So all of this stuff works. It is based in the foundations of science that is feeding the coaching sphere, as well as my own personal experiences with my own life. So whether you're calling it burnout or you're just in a rut, right? You're finding yourself in a place in life where you do not feel you belong. You feel empty. You feel unfulfilled. You're lacking motivation. And why is that? Well, for one, more and more we've become isolated from other people. Whether that's the social media nowadays, as much as it can connect us, really, the science really shows that it is driving a barrier between true interpersonal communication and relationships. Whether that is our modern workplace, where we work remotely, at home, on our own, without our colleagues there in our workplace. The environment that we're finding ourselves in nowadays has truly been incredibly isolating. And that is one of the main drivers for burnout. And you can see that in the statistics, because COVID made this worse. Right? When we were all stuck at home, our burnout rates increased. We were more isolated from each other. And out of my own personal experiences with those feelings, for me, I was very cynical. I was resentful. I hated my job. I didn't like going to work. And even when I was at work, I was disengaged. I was not participating. In fact, I was trying to hide. Right? I was trying to get away from my responsibilities at work. And that's just not who I am. I'm generally a very happy guy. I like to joke around. I like to smile. I like to hear a funny joke. I want to hang out with my friends and my family. Sunshine, beach, and palm trees. Those are my jams. Well, I found myself in a place that was dark and rainy and cloudy and just gray. A deep, depressing gray. And I knew that wasn't me. I knew things had to change. And so I embarked on an incredible journey of self-discovery to identify what my problems were and find solutions for them. And that's really where the 5 Ps come from, right? They come from my journey and my experiences with my own burnout, if that's what you want to call it. Really, realistically, it's anytime you're finding yourself in a rut, you're finding yourself in a place where you're just treading water, You're not getting ahead. You're not getting what you want. You feel like you're doing all the right things. You're just not getting the right results. And if you call that burnout, so be it. And so that's what I designed the Phoenix program around. And you can learn more about that on my website, or you can follow me on the socials to learn more about that. But it is really just a program based on my experiences on what it will take for each and every single one of us to get out of this place that we don't want to be in. We know we don't want to be in this place. And trust me, I have been there. I've been in those places myself. And I've gotten myself out of it. And I'm just here to share my journey with you. So the 5 P's. We talked about positivity 2 weeks ago. We talked about purpose last week. So this week we're on to the 3rd P, which is priming. So if you think about it, the first P, positivity, is really designed to try to change your mindset, to get you out of this limited, restricting mindset and into a growth mindset so that you can be open to new ideas. Your brain can be creative to come up with new thought patterns, new ideas, new ways out that you may not be able to recognize right now. Once you're in that growth mindset, now your ideas start to flow. And now you can rediscover yourself. Now you can find a new way out. And for that, you want to define your purpose. And your purpose, if you will, is you take out a map, an old atlas, if you will. Like, I don't know if you remember the times before all the maps were on our phones, but it used to be that you could buy these thick tomes of maps called an atlas. And you open that up and you see the world on different pages. And that's essentially what your purpose is, right? You're looking at the world the way you want to see it, where you belong in that world, how you belong in that world. So now you know where your starting point is at, because that's where you're at today. With priming, what you're doing is you're figuring out where your endpoint is. So you don't have the waypoints yet to get from A to B, but you figured out where it is that you are right now, and you're figuring out where it is that you want to go. Not where you're going, but where you want to go. That's what priming is. Connecting those 2 dots is the 4th P, and that's planning, and we'll talk about that next week. So for this week, I want to focus on priming because, again, this is an incredibly powerful tool. And again, you can call it priming. I did priming only because it fits in with the 5 Ps, but other people call it future visioning or manifesting your future. And if you think this is hocus pocus, I was there myself. But I have let go of that, and I have jumped into the unknown myself. And I've listened to other mentors, other coaches, people in my circles who have done this. I didn't get this idea initially myself. I came across this through Project Life Mastery. And if you're subscribed to the Phoenix mini course, that short 14-day email series that you can subscribe to for free on my website, I will link to that YouTube video that started this journey for me on priming in that course. So you can have that as a reference as well. So what you're doing is you're getting out a board like this one. And mine is a magnetic board. It's also a dry erase board. So what I can do with it now is I can put pictures up of people or situations or things that inspire me for who I want to become. Things that I want to have in my life. It tries to paint the picture for me of what I want my life to look like in the future, right? What I want my life to look like in the future. It's not what my life looks like right now, and it might change. As my experiences change, my circumstances change, my knowledge of the world changes, I might add and subtract to this board. So that's why a magnetic board is really helpful, because you can add and subtract very easily. Now, if you're listening to this as a podcast, just want to say you may want to jump over to YouTube to take a look at what this actually looks like. The other nice thing about it being a dry erase board, I can write things on there. So if there is a specific quote that's ringing true with me, or a statement, or something that I want to accomplish, I can simply write it on this board. Now, you don't have to use this. You can use a corkboard if that's what you have, and just thumb tag your pictures on there. You can simply tape pictures to the wall, right? This is not any different than a teenager putting posters up in their room of their favorite artist, or movie that they really liked, that really rings true with them, that they're inspired by, right? That's not any different at all. So whatever works best for you, that's the way to do it. The great thing about this is it doesn't take a whole lot of time, and it doesn't take a whole lot of money either. So the third P on priming is really a very short implementation. Right? This whole board here is actually a work in progress. I'm in the middle of moving. I lost half of the stuff, so I'm recreating my vision board now. And looking at the pictures that I had on there a year ago, they're very different than what I want on there today. So I'm changing this up. This is still a work in progress. What you're looking at right now is simply where I'm at right now, today, with my vision board, and this is going to change. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting pictures up of things that, again, that inspire me, people that inspire me, situations that inspire me, pictures that I want to see in my life, in reality, in the future. And I'm putting this board up for me in my bedroom, so that the first thing I see when I wake up in the morning is this vision board. The last thing I see before I go to bed at night is this vision board. So my brain is constantly being triggered by these pictures. And that's where the power of a vision board comes from. Okay. And again, you don't have to take this from me. In the book, in the Phoenix textbook, I actually used the story of my friend Simon. He was looking at this house that he wanted to purchase, and it was the absolutely perfect house for him and his family. Unfortunately, the deal didn't go through, but on his tour of the house, he took a picture of his child in the kitchen. And he took that picture, right, that not only included now a picture of the house that he wanted, but also his family in the house, and he put that on his vision board. Fast forward a few years, and he is now purchasing the same house, right? Architecturally the same house, albeit in a different neighborhood, but he's purchasing the same built house for his family. And what he shared with me as part of his experience was actually not just the initial picture that he put up on his vision board, but also the picture of the housewarming party that he held at this house. So now you have a picture of that very same kitchen filled with his friends and family. And the combination of those two pictures, I think, is just so powerful. And it really showcases that this works. So again, don't take this from me, because at first I was skeptical that this would work. And I found it to be a little hocus pocus myself. But trust me on this. Lean into it and just do it. Again, it doesn't take a whole lot of time. It doesn't take a whole lot of money. Now, you can put whatever you want on this vision board. That's the beauty. It is your vision. It's not my vision. It's not your parents' vision. It's not your spouse's vision. It's your vision. It's whatever you want your future to look like. So if you look at my vision board, for example, I naturally have a picture of my company logo on there because that's my baby. That's what I want to grow. That's what I'm doing. I have a picture of Tony Robbins. When I grew up, Tony Robbins was always poo-pooed and coaches were talked down upon. And it wasn't until I discovered what coaching really was, and I discovered Tony Robbins for myself, that I recognized the power of coaching and the power that this man has exercised to help thousands, if not millions of people. And that's the kind of impact I want to have as well. And so he has become now one of the inspiring figures on my own coaching journey. And so I needed to include him on my vision board because this is the stuff that I am working on for my own future. In the same coaching sphere, I have now come across over the last few months Wiley McGraw, another phenomenal coach. And he has a great podcast that I love to listen to. It's Wise Words and Whiskey. And what's really cool about that is a friend of mine introduced me to bourbon about, I don't know, 8 months ago. And I never knew much about bourbon at all. And it's become a bit of a staple with us. It's an incredible, rich beverage. And so when I heard about Wiley McGraw being not only a coach, but also having a love for whiskeys, I had to include him on my vision board as well. Now, you go through this, I have Arnold Schwarzenegger, and whether you agree with his politics or not, that's outside of this. He is, from a mindset perspective, an incredible, incredible human being. He is so inspiring. And he too believes in the power of vision. If you subscribe to his newsletter, for example, just this past week, there's been 2 blurbs on creating a future vision for yourself because it is so powerful. And if you're not subscribed to the Pump Daily, which I recommend anybody is because it's a very short newsletter, actionable tips and tricks to improve your health and fitness, you can do so. Brokesurgeon.com. I'll link out to the newsletter right on there. I have a picture of the house or the style of house that I envision myself living in the future. That's what I'm working towards. It's not the house I'm living in right now, but it's the house that I want to have for my family. Naturally, along with that, I have to have pictures of my family. My family is important to me, so I have pictures of my family up on the board as well. And in particular, I have pictures of me and my kids at school events because that is important to me. My work so far has kept me from participating more in their day-to-day school activities because most of the time that happens while I'm at work. And so my future vision is to be able to free up more of my time, to be able to spend more time with them at the activities that are important to them. Not just important to me, but they're important to them. And I want to be there for them. I want to support them. And I want to empower my children. And that is part of my vision for my future. And that's why those pictures are on my vision board. Now, the other thing I have up here is a picture of this Jeep. Now, I have a Jeep. I have a black Jeep, as a matter of fact. And my kids, years ago, got this idea in their head that I love Batman. That Batman is my favorite comic book hero. It's not far from the truth. I do like Batman, but not for the reasons that they think I like Batman. So I have this black Jeep, and my kids and I refer to it as the Bat Jeep because I like Batman, and it's a black Jeep. I didn't buy the Jeep as a black Jeep. It just happened to be the Jeep that came off the lot for me. So it was just this fortuitous circumstances where I now have a black Jeep. My kids think I like Batman, so now I have the Bat Jeep. My vision for this is to be able to take this Jeep and go around and give back to my community in that Jeep. I don't fully know what that is going to look like. But for right now, my first step is going to be building up this Jeep into what I think would be a pretty kick-ass Bat Jeep, right? What would Batman drive if Batman had a Jeep? And so I have a picture of a black built Jeep on my vision board because that is also part of my future vision that I want to be able to provide and give back to my community. And I want to use the Bat Jeep as that tool because it connects me and my kids. And I think together I can show them what it means to give back and support our community. So that's my vision board as it stands right now. Like I said, I may subtract some of these things in the future. More likely, I'm going to add things to this board. Now, one thing I need you to keep in mind when it comes to vision boards is that whatever you put on there is very likely going to happen. And so you want to be dialed in on your purpose because that's your destination. That's where you're going to end up. And you want to make sure that your purpose or that your life is aligned with your purpose. Because if not, if you're not quite clear on your purpose yet, then you put the wrong things on your vision board. And what ends up happening is you end up in the future, or you end up in the future that you put on your vision board, but it's not the future that you wanted to end up in. And that's essentially the same circumstance you may find yourself in right now, a place you don't want to be in. So you want to have a somewhat clear idea of what your purpose in life truly is. You don't have to have that properly 100% defined, but you got to be dialed in closely enough that your vision board will support you moving forward. Okay, so you want to make sure you have a pretty good idea of what your purpose in life is. And that's why priming comes after purpose in the 5 Ps, because you got to have your purpose dialed in first. Once you have your vision and you have it up on your vision board, you need to be able to trigger your brain with these pictures and these inspiring ideas, these thoughts frequently. And that's why I have it in my bedroom in such a way that I can see it first thing in the morning and last thing in the day. You can put inspiring quotes on there. I generally say it's a good idea to include your purpose statement as well, so that as you go through your day, your subconscious will continuously guide you in a way that's aligned with your purpose. Our brains are incredibly smart and incredibly stupid at the same time, and we tend to forget things very, very quickly. And so this is where the vision board comes in. It continuously triggers. It does these micro triggers of inspiration, suggestions, ideas of what you want your future to look like. Again, this is incredibly powerful, and yet it is so easy to implement. So I hope you do the same. Let me know what you're putting on your vision board. I'm curious to know what your vision for your future looks like. Connect with me on the socials. Like, share, subscribe. If you know anybody who could benefit from this episode, share it with them, right? There's other people out there in the world who are suffering from burnout. They're stuck in a rut. They're in a spot where they found themselves and they don't know how to get themselves out of it. Again, I've been there. I've been through that. I have had that experience, and I am here to help you out of that stuck situation. Now, in order for me to do that, I got to know what works for you. I want to be able for these episodes to provide you with value, with actionable tips and tricks and things you can implement in your life right now to change your situation. The only way I know how to do that is if you tell me what it is that you're looking for from me. I will continue to provide you with all the stuff that I know, but that's the stuff that works for me. And I want to know what stuff works for you. So send me a message, connect on the socials, leave me a review, let me know what works and what doesn't work for you so that I can be better at providing value to you. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate you being here. I hope this stuff is good for you. I hope you get something out of it. And until next time, unleash your genius!